Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome once again to the Collegiate Star League. We've got week number 4 of all of your Collegiate League of Legends actions. My name's returned. This is Ezra. We are going to be bringing to you the match today between Southwest Baptist and Missouri State.
Yeah, it's a pretty interesting, going to be an interesting matchup as we have, again, a newer team for the scholarships in Southern Baptist. They have not the biggest, scholarship backing, but they do have a good backing. So these are a recruited team versus your typical CSL team, which is just going to be of Missouri State, which is people just coming together to try and compete and do well for their school. So we're going to see kind of the clash of the old and the new of what we've been seeing in CSL.
Yeah, I mean, every Cinderella story needs hope and needs a team at some point, so Missouri State definitely looking to turn things out for the better here, and boy, would a national championship or conference championship appearance be a long ways for helping them build their program. But just like we said, this is week number 4, and we are still in the Riot Games 6-week Swiss format. So how that works is we have 6 weeks to play. Each week you do one best of 3 when you're seeing right now. And every week you also get reseeded based on what your standings are, and you play against teams of equal standing. So both these guys are coming at us with 2-1 records, meaning they've already dropped one set somewhere else along the road. And for the side of Southwest Baptist, that was Delord, who you guys just saw playing. That they are a pretty strong team. Maybe not enough to beat Columbia College out, but still in the northern bracket here. It's getting pretty intense, and a big thing for the season is you need that 5-1 or 6-0 record if you want to be moving on to the conference championships.
Yeah, and this is what, like you said, big game for both these teams here. With one loss already, they're looking to not drop that second game and keep their playoff hopes alive. Obviously, the Swiss format makes it quite a bit more interesting with the reseeding and stuff like that. But it also technically makes the best teams play each other constantly because the undefeated teams play each other on a regular basis. So it's going to be interesting to see if Missouri State here are going to be able to hold their own against a pretty stacked lineup from the side of Southern Baptist.
Oh yeah, most certainly. Southern Baptist has definitely been a team that's had the highest highs and the lowest of lows. In their weeks 1 and 2 matchups, it was just complete stomp fest. Just rolling over. We actually saw them play Augustana on this very stream, week number 1. I believe they're also our first stream match of the season, so looking to come right back around and pick up another W, keep their conference playoffs hopes alive. But they're very much a team that either wins everything or loses everything. Week 1 and 2, every single lane got a lead, went on ahead, even saw some legendary singed gameplay coming out here in the top lane. So curious to see if that comes out once again. But then again, when they got against Lords, just couldn't stack up based on the macro game, also based on some of the lane micros. And maybe if they want to come out to a victory here, hopefully they're picking up some of these lessons they learned from that absolute stomping game number 1 of last week. Have we just been kicked out of the lobby?
That's what I think just happened, because I was looking and I was like, did I just be removed from the guy? The lobby timed out? Give us a second here.
Was really excited that the game was getting started.
Yeah, me too. And then I was like, no, just kidding.
JKXD. All right, looks like it's the same code, so you should be able to reconnect.
Yeah.
But yeah, let's talk about the other team, because there are 2 teams in this matchup. It's not only Southwest Baptist, it's also Missouri State. And they have very much been centralized around that bottom part of the map and kind of live or die based off their ADC, whose name escapes me for the moment.
Young Bao.
Yeah, Young Bao. Young Bobo. He either really...
Bobo.
Young Bobo usually either plays a big part in the team coming forward, does like to go towards those Tristana games especially, a few towards also the... I don't think he actually played Callisto yet this season. But nonetheless, they really love to get that lane rolling. If bot lane's winning, usually Missouri State is winning. And likewise, if you shut them down, they don't really have too many different ways to go to, especially looking up towards that top side of the map. So hopefully Missouri State have also been picking some things up for the season. Hopefully they've also been watching some of our other CSL streams and going to better themselves for the season, because one loss here means you're completely out of conference playoffs. Teemo Cup for you.
Yeah, and the Teemo Cup, again, gives everybody else a chance to kind of get back into it towards the end of the playoffs and everything like that, and we'll see how that goes. I just joined the wrong team. Didn't mean to do that. I'm trying to make room so I can join the spectators.
I think that'd be a pretty fun week where we just got the casters on the teams just during the game going, just trash talking each other. That'd be a pretty fun stream, I think.
It'd be fun, except for the fact that, I don't know if certain teams would want me to play for them.
Unlucky. How could they turn away the tactical genius that is SRF?
Well, no, I've been playing this game a long time, so we'll see. But like you said, let's go back to talking about Missouri State, though, real quick, because Young Bobo, like you said, win or die with that bot lane. It can make sense, though, because with this patch, with this iteration of League of Legends and with everything that's been going on, they did everything to try and bring ADC's kind of back into like feeling confident, because after last year, everybody was kind of like, "Oh, ADCs are worthless." You know, it just kind of feels like they've been falling off, and now they're kind of back on the upswing. So it'd be interesting to see if one man can continue to do what he has been doing, which is putting everyone on his back and just carrying as hard as possible. One man,
the one man,
one young Bobo. I mean, obviously he has his team to help him out too. We'll see if they were going to play around him as well. If they take the priority in trying to play around their bot lane, I feel like it can be really, really beneficial to them. But again, like when you have a player like that you make or break, you kind of have to focus on them, or either focus on keeping them alive or focus on making sure you're not behind so they can still carry. So
most certainly, and definitely we've been seeing a really weird surge of the ADCs as of late. Obviously, ever since the end of Season 7, they were hugely in the limelight with things like the Ardent meta, where it was literally just pick a hyper carry, pick a supporter who can use Ardent Sensor, and then just win the game eventually. Definitely seeing a lot of change from that, but we do also see a lot of things like the Varus currently very high up in the meta, still Tristana, things that want to go for those late game spikes, and also things that play around with the use of Rage Blade too. So curious to see what each of these teams go for, and fortunately, no more Singed.
Yeah, we're going to say that the Joshy Bra is actually, they could, even Missouri State said themselves that they consider him a used to be one-trick Singed player. So obviously, Southern Baptist doing their scouting right off of here and banning that Singed right away, just to make things a little bit more complicated for him, as we see a Gnar ban come out afterwards.
Yeah, and trying to knock away some of that early priority in the top side of the map. Gnar, not quite completely uncontested, but still pretty high up there in priority. Can win out versus most of these very standard, some are tanks, some are more fighters, but very standardly melee champions up on the top side. And just having the ability to push in the waves gives your teams a lot of options. You can bring them down for a gank. You can keep them up there and just know you're eventually going to get a top tower. So taking that much priority is definitely a good way to not only save the top lane from just getting rolled over on, but hopefully alleviate some of that late game split pushing.
Yeah, Gnar is just something that can be. I play top lane a little bit, and like I considered it my second role for a really long time. But like playing against Gnar is really finicky because he's just so dominant in lane against so many different heroes. It's kind of brutal. But then we see a couple more bans coming out: Shen ban, J4 ban, as well as the Sejuani ban and the Galio ban from the side of Missouri State. Kind of standard bans all across, and it looks like Braum is going to be the rock steady support to start it off for D. Leo and Southern Baptist University.
This could almost really point out to me that Missouri State is planning on some sort of Ornn, at least that Southern Baptist doesn't want Missouri to pick that up, because the normal counter to Ornn nowadays, who still is fairly high priority in the top side with the ability to push out the lane, still get ganks in on using it ult for team fights, is just having Braum block the Call of the Forge God. Because once you use that at the start, he can't use it the duration of the channel. It's just gone completely. So to make sure that it doesn't go to the other side, but the Maokai going to be locked in for Missouri State, it seems.
Yeah, I was going to say, Maokai is an interesting pick. I don't feel like I've seen him too much. I mean, obviously in pro play, he's kind of fallen off because they're going towards the more carry top laners, Jace, Gnar. Gangplank's really popular right now in the pro scene, stuff like that. But we're going to see a Maokai Warwick, and I feel like this is actually a fairly good, strong combo. They have a lot of lockdown here and some tank going on for the side of Missouri State. I feel like those are actually pretty good pickups. And I mean, with someone like Joshy, who used to be a Singed one-trick, you want them to be on somebody that can kind of sit in lane, tank up, and then come into fights and do big things like use that Maokai to root half the team or stuff like that. But the counter picks come out for the side of Southern Baptist. So
exactly, and once again, Southern Baptist is a team that wants to play with the most priority in the early game. Zoe is a great pick to get that done, because if you start hitting some great shots onto Zoe, there's very little that can stop you. Biggest concern right now with the Maokai and Warwick, Maokai doesn't have the best of laning phases. He can still be taken advantage of by quite a few of these picks, and it's a little bit shocking to me to not see Southern Baptist actually pick one of those up in the rotation. They're probably going to be able to pick one up the next rotation, but they're going to be banned out quite a bit. But the one thing I do have to say with this first rotation of pick and bans coming out for Missouri State is they're setting themselves up a very nice front line and mid laner to start some of these team fights. And curious to see how young Bobo is able to round out the comp.
Yeah, there's a lot of lockdown on their team comp already. Kind of like I mentioned before about how they want to build around young Bobo if he's the one that's actually carrying him. And as we've seen in the past, it seems like he is. When he wins, they win, and when he loses, they lose. So they got a lot of CC and a lot of lockdown to help keep people in place so that young Bobo can make these plays. It will just depend on what's ADC they go with, as we see Missouri banning out the Jace up top, like we said, banning out those top laners that would give Maokai some problems, and then we see an ADC ban with Caitlyn on the side of Southern Baptist.
Exactly, and depending on how they want to play, Master Party does still have something like the Camille available to him, which I'd be actually kind of shocked to see him not go to. And on top of that, probably one of the most pick ban top laners of this entire season, Gangplank is still on the board as well. And if you want to talk about pretty free lanes for a Gangplank to go in, Maokai's not that far down there. So maybe they're going to be going with different strats. It definitely depends whether they want to win big in the mid to early game or whether they just want a giant bomb that just blows everyone up in the late.
Yeah, I feel like I wouldn't be surprised if Southern Baptist picks up Gangplank as their top laner here at this point. They did ban out two ADCs. They go with the Tristan and the Caitlyn, forcing young Bobo to go on that Ezreal, which is a little bit different than some of the hyper carries we've been seeing.
Exactly, because Ezreal has been really effective not only with the Kleptomancy nerfs, but also just direct nerfs to his Q damage in lane. So it's still not great to pick up right now. I don't think it's really in that A tier. I'd probably put that more around the B minus tier. It'll still get you through the laning phase, and it'll get you through it pretty safely. And overall, if your only objective is to survive versus the Zac, it's probably going to get the job done. But the question then becomes, how safe can you be while still having an impact? And they're going to answer that question with very, very safe with a Tahm Kench pick. And I really hope this bot lane never gets to die.
Yeah, I would hope so. I mean, we mentioned it before when we were starting again. They like the play around young Bobo, and obviously they're showcasing that here. Tons of lockdown from top to jungle to mid, and then they have Tam to help keep Ezreal safe, and then Ezreal himself with the arcane shift to be able to get out of stuff. It's going to be interesting, but they do have a lot of ways to get on top of him. Camille, Zac are pretty deadly, and they got good lockdown from Varus, and Zoe can always poke people out as well. So it's going to be an interesting matchup, I feel like. I'm not sure who to give it to. Obviously, the side of Southern Baptist have a little bit more experienced players or higher ranked players, but both drafts are pretty decent. Which just like I said, it really rotates around that bot lane. We'll see how it goes.
Most certainly, and even another lane I want to draw a lot of attention to is going to be the mid lane matchup. Malzahar defaultly has some issues in the very early stages of the game with the lane pressure, especially against something like a Zoe. Probably going to be picking up the minion dematerializer if he's been watching what other collegiate players have been doing in that mid lane. Because if Zoe's allowed to roam around, if Justice can make some plays on the top side, especially help Master Party out there, there's not too much to hold them about at all. And Southern Baptist, they just have way more in terms of early game priority. They can go and just make plays all around the map. Once again, especially on this top lane. If you guys tuned in for the last match, we saw Misty Stumpy on the winning team, but got killed 5 times on that pick. Just obsessively just knocked down and down time and time again.
Yeah, it can be a brutal issue to get ganked super heavy early on, especially as a Maokai, where you don't have a whole lot to deal with it and you're not super tanky yet. You can take a lot of kills, but it's all about playing safe and trying to get your farm up and getting your items. But another thing that you mentioned, early game versus late game, is Zac, Titan Dog for the side of Southern Baptist, is going to have a little bit more time in jungle, the easier time in jungle control and ganking, because Zac has that leap early on where Warwick kind of has to wait a little bit till he becomes really, really effective on those ganks. I've seen a couple ganks at the lower levels before level 6, but I feel like it's really hard to make sure that you get someone killed, and he's not going to be able to come top lane because they're not going to have the damage unless he's level 6 to get a gank. So he's going to have to focus on mid and bot lane or trying to counter the Zac, I feel like.
Exactly. That's where it definitely falls off a little bit for me for the Missouri State composition. There isn't really that one thing that gets them through the early game that ensures that Southern Baptist can't just camp bot lane with 5 members or can't go top lane with 4 members or just hit really hard without absolutely nothing done in response. Because just look at each lane in particular. Maokai into Camille. Maokai is going to survive the early game, but it's not going to be pretty, especially once Tiamat's been built over for Camille. Jungle, Warwick wants to hit farm, he wants to hit level 6. Malzahar, probably the most pressured lane in existence for the Missouri State squad, just having the pushing power with his E Malefic Visions. Hopefully, fingers crossed, paired with a minion dematerializer in bot lane. Ezreal plus Tahm Kench is not a winning bot lane. It is the safest bot lane in potentially the history of League of Legends. And it's going to get them to late game, but there's no promises about how much they're going to be able to hang on.
Yeah, it can become really tricky. Like if the Varus, Dr. Santa for Southern Baptist, wants to land some of his archer shots there, long range, and get some damage, if he's good on his poke, it can really hurt this bottom lane. Just because Tam can't really fight to level 3 because you need his passive so you don't just die, stuff like that. And it's going to be it's going to come down to, it can come down a lot to how they play against each other, just the 2v2. But I feel like junglers are going to have a pretty big impact as well. And like we said, Warwick is going to have a little bit of time struggling, I feel like, probably trying to keep up with the Zach, just because of how the two champions differ from each other. So,
yeah, without a doubt, Zach is Titan Dog once he gets to level 4, once to level 5, gets multiple points into the Elastic Slingshot. There are just so many ganking opportunities, especially in a lane with a Zoe. Like, we've always talked about back when Syndra was like the bee's knees in the meta for the mid lane, that Syndra's such a great mid laner because she can set up these ganking planes at like a moment's notice. Zoe's kind of in that same camp where you get the Sleepy Time triple bubble out. It's incredibly hard to actually avoid. I mean, yeah, Malzahar does have the spell shield, but that's going to fall off pretty quickly in a lane like that. And there's just so much you have to play defensively around, and that's really where I think the junglers are going to make the majority in the impact. Because it's definitely the Warwick isn't going to have the best ganks in the early parts of the match. It's going to be how well can they defend their own lanes, because everything set aside, if these teams are even going on into that, well, that was a really quick loading in, but if both these teams are even going into that last few moments of the match, that like 40-minute part, I think that it becomes very close as to who actually walks out with the W. Hello? Yes, Roof? Alright, well, we seem to have been to have lost our member. Sorry about that, guys. A little bit of loading up issues, but we are here without a doubt. It's going to be game number 1 of Missouri State. They're going to be on the red side, well, as Southern Baptist look to keep their playoff hopes alive on the blue side here. And already looks like a 5-stack on this bottom portion of the map. Going to be looking for potentially a pretty impactful early invade, but I'm honestly not too thrilled about this, because what this does is it allows the other side, the side for Missouri State, to go in and grab that vision on the other part of the map. And if there's one person that needs to be kept track of on this map, it's Titan Dog. So they're really here when you go for the invade, you're basically saying, all right, we'll trade you vision for vision, and both junglers get some sort of just being tracked around the map. And I think that's Southern Baptist, especially without seeing too many wards, is going to come up just a little bit shorter on this one. As this lane, as these matches do start to come up, it doesn't like Isaiah. He's going to be going for a bit of invade. Q misses from Braum, is not going to get the chilling stacks onto that one, so maybe a little bit too greedy there at the last few moments, but all the other things aside, it does look like we will get opposite starts here for both the junglers, and this definitely will also benefit this side of Missouri State, as Manus wants to just get the farm game going, and the great thing with starting on opposite sides is it's very hard to pull off some of those jungle invades unless Titan Dog got super hyper aggro in this early game and tried to just go blue buff to his own red buff to enemy blue buff, which is extremely dangerous with a potentially shoving lane out in the mid and towards the bottom. This really will allow Missouri State to, at least in the very early stages of this game, keep that lane rolling.
all right, it looks like I am now in, possibly.
Perfect.
So let's get this going so I can have a scoreboard quick, and there we go. Yeah, looks like pretty standard things going on so far. Nothing crazy, obviously, from my perspective. Not a whole lot of things missing.
Perfect, perfect. One of the things that really points out to me is, sure, we see Joshy pick up the mini Demonizer in the top lane, wants to make sure he has some amount of lane priority. Ooh, level 2 hit on the bot lane, though.
Yeah, a good stun on to the Tam Kench. Not going to be able to follow it up too much, but Justice in the middle lane, chucking out the Malzahar, and then obviously Camille doing a lot of pressure up top, pushing Maokai under the turret as well. So we're going to see how this is going to go. Obviously, Justice is doing a good job landing some poke, and that's going to help him with the pressure of Malzahar push there as well. And then it looks like all lanes so far pushing in here. We're going to have to see if Warwick on Manus is going to come in and look for a gank, or if he's going to try to farm to get that level 6.
Yeah, we're going to be pretty curious to watch right there. And one thing that also sticks out for me quite a bit is going to have to be the mid lane. When you see Malzahar in the modern
here comes the gank.
through.
Zach's in there, pulls him back, almost doesn't get the link onto a minion, but they are going to get first blood with Zoe popping the flash just to guarantee the kill. Justice takes first blood, and that's a great start for your Zoe mid laner to get first blood and just get an early advantage on the Malzahar.
Exactly, because once that lane starts rolling, it is incredibly hard to slow them down at any point in time. A great pickup right there, and I don't see that stopping anytime soon. It's going to be up to Manus and Isaiah working together to keep Zoe under wraps, and So far, no help coming out of Manus, no help coming out of Isaiah. If that keeps up, this game could be for naught. But for the third time, what definitely sets me apart in the mid lane, there was no minion dematerializer taken by Isaiah. That's something you see Malzahars take very often because it buffs up your Malefic Vision so much in terms of that pushing game. And what this does is it allows Justice to keep that pushing game going, especially with that early event. But here
comes
Manus.
The gank top. Maokai goes in, but gets it out with the leap out from the Camille, but actually gets hit by the stun or the fear by Warwick and barely makes it out. That was actually almost terrible for him because he made the leap out, but that Warwick jump in fear landed, so he almost got caught out, but the W from Maokai had already been used, so there's no route to follow it up. And again, that was what I mentioned it earlier, the teleport comes in back up top, but it's really hard to kill someone as a Maokai Warwick combo without having that ultimate, so...
Exactly.
And then, Zach back in the mid. Drowsy, Sleepy Trouble Bugger goes off, but Zach breaks it before Zoe can get back in the range. So unfortunately for them, no kill there. But more pressure going on to Isaiah on this Malzahar in mid lane. And it looks like Warwick wants to come in for the counter gank. Zach's leaving, and they don't have vision, but he looks like he's going to back off.
Yeah, and right there, bigger thing is they're trying to cash in on the summoner spells out from Isaiah early. That's how you set up these sort of plays at this level. You get the vision game first, then you get the summoner spells, and then after that you put the enemy laner so far behind because they have to be incredibly scared about when that play is coming. Unfortunately for the side of the rest of Southern Baptist, they aren't actually able to follow up on that play, and Manus going to be going fairly toe-to-toe here right now, does have the advantage as far as you look at the actual farming goes. Is up in CS, should be just looking to stay on that track for a duration of the time here. But this is also a very unfortunate turn of events for Southern Baptist, because that's an infernal drag up on the bot side.
It is. That can be interesting that they're trying to spend time around it, but we're going to see if they're going to go for it or not. Obviously, that gank. Oh, here comes another gank.
Not only Time Dog.
He pulls it back this time, and it looks like the rotation from the Braum. DeLeo with the Q to get the kill. What a good rotation there by the support, noticing that they were going to go back in. Like you said, they're pushing all that pressure on that Malzahar with no flash. There's no way for him to get out of it. It looked like it was going to be an odd gank because it did look like Zoe was in the right position for that, but it worked out fine for them in the end. So now they're going to go with that jungle invade into the blue side jungle of Missouri, and they're going to take as much farm as they can away from this Warwick, who is still not level 6.
And that's going to be a very tilting point when it's not even an enemy Alistar that roamed on you or a Thresh. That was an enemy Braum, and you got to guarantee that it's got to be throwing those question mark pings down on bot lane as why is there a Braum in my lane at this point in time? But this is all just a domino effect from what happened in that champion select. Bot lane picks very literally zero priority in that lane. There is no reason why Dr. Santa can't comfortably lane that bot lane 2v1, and really good knowledge there from DeLeo and really good playmaking to make his way up towards that mid lane, get things rolling, and keep this match on their side. And with that, that's not only that one jungle camp stolen away, that's not only that one kill, but check out that vision, because Manus cannot stay on this bot side for anything, while most importantly, that Infernal Drag is still up.
And also, we can also see the other parts of getting ganked twice in mid lane is there's a 20 CS difference at 7 minutes here right now. And all Malzahar can do pretty much is try to cast Malefic Visions and sit behind as we get another Sleepy Trouble bubble onto him. Here comes the Paddle Star to poke him out. Lots more damage. And that's a Zoe with almost no ability power yet. This is going to be a rough life for this Malzahar. And Isaiah, he's gonna have to ask his team to come help him or something, because he's just not going to have a good time. Here comes the ulti gank in. Varus with the ulti eaten immediately by Tam Ken's. Ezreal should be able to get out here. Flash comes out from Tam. Tam's really low, but he might actually live as well. They use the heal as well. And here comes the... Is that a redemption?
The redemption coming off of Zoe.
Redemption. Okay, yeah. I was like, who the hell has redemption? What the...
Questions you have to ask when a Zoe is in the game.
Exactly. I was like, wait a second, that's way too early for that. But that makes sense. The dive doesn't actually go through, but as we mentioned before, that super safe lane, they're able to get out. They use almost all their summoners. They just keep a hold of Exhaust and Flash on the Ezreal. But it's going to be rough because, like, again, they can't really do much as we see the side of Southern Baptist stealing the blue buff because they have all the vision in the world they can do. And Malzahar is just too afraid to move out of that lane. He knows that if anyone is there, he's probably going to get ganked, and the Zoe's going to be able to kill him.
Not only that, but you're seeing this battle line being drawn, not across the river, but across the mid lane, with the side of Southwest Baptist basically claiming the entirety of the bot farm of the map. And as long as Master Party doesn't suffer too heavily, he's going to be
Here it
perfectly fine with that
comes.
trade.
Yep. And they go in.
Oh, that was disgusting.
Yeah. He ends up breaking it off and keeps himself completely fine as his team takes an easy, uncontested dragon at the other side of the map.
That is absolutely heartbreaking. When you think you're going to get that one response play, and that's really the idea with scaling. You just want to go punch for punch, blow for blow, objective for objective. But they just find nothing up there. And Master Party, he's still 20 CS, not only 10 CS, but 10 CS up in that lane, still has the flash available. They are doing nothing on the side of Missouri to actually keep this game going. And if they allow more of these objectives to go over, God forbid that first tower, into the hands of someone like Dr. Santa, this game could just keep going till it's gone at that 20-minute point.
Yeah, that devastating snowball effect that can happen. I really feel like, I mean, they got some decent pink wards in their own jungle now to try and counteract that vision that Southern Baptist gamed up, but those wards have also finally died off as well. So the top side of their jungle is super dark, and their bottom is, and they have no idea where Zach is pretty much at any point in time. They do have one deep vision ward by the wolf camp, but that seems like all it is. So it's kind of interesting to see how this goes. They're kind of just all over the place, and there he is, Dr. Santa, just solo pushing a turret by himself now, giving the ability for Braum to go ward up again. So just good map control from Southern Baptist. But I really think Missouri is going to have to try and make more of an aggressive play here. I think they should do a double roam and bring Warwick and Malzahar down and try and use those double ultimates to their advantage.
They also have the TP available with some pretty good deep wards if they want Joshi Bra to match up on this play, but they have to be so careful.
Here comes that gank from mid lane, and he's going to get caught out at the last second. It doesn't look like they're going to be able to do anything. Ult comes in, only on the Braum. They're just going to go all in on the Braum here. He's still alive. How is he not dead yet? Almost gets the ult off, does not, but they get one kill. Not the one they wanted, but they do get one. That's exactly what I was thinking about there they needed to do. Use those two hard CC lockdowns to pick up something to help move the game in a different direction. But now we have to watch out for Joshi up top. He's getting dove in by the Camille, and Zach is on his way. Titan Dog is going to land the stun, and oh, good flash. Well done by Joshi Bra to get out of that, but he still might be in trouble. Looks like he's tanky enough to get out, though. But that was exactly what they needed to do. Make a play on one side of the map, and then play safe on the other side of the map, and try not to give anything else up because of their fact that they're already in this deficit.
And that was a bit of a misplay from Titan Dog. You see, he had to use Let's Play Bounce, but they're still going in.
Yep, they come back in. He just, patience, knew the flash was gone this time. Elastic in, knock up, dead. Camille with the damage follow-up. And unfortunately, it seemed like he made the great escape, but now we're going to have supportable combat in the jungle where, oh my god, he ulted him? Is he going to hit it before? No, he doesn't. Unlucky. That big Tam Kench body blocking stuff out. But he's in trouble now because Zoe's here. The Q misses, but he should be dead to this Zoe, honestly.
Yeah, and here comes Dr. Santa as well. Omnivore, he's not getting out of here anytime soon.
Yeah, that's just a sad life right there as the super long-range snipe comes in from Justice to make him 2-0-1 now. Still up 34 CS, has those 2 kills. Morello's done already, looking pretty good as his team, Braum and Zach, move through that lower side jungle and get some more vision. Looks like Joshi keeps trying to trade as best he can, but here comes a dive bottom. Zach comes in. Ezreal's by himself. This is over for him. There's nothing he can do. Oh, he's still alive. There's the stopwatch, but it shouldn't matter. There he is. Good timing by the Varus to Dr. Santa to lay down the hate there and get the kill immediately as he leaves the clockwork effect. And then here comes another gank top, but again, Master Party just very, very aware of what's going on. Had his own ward there, just leaps out right away as his teammates. You know, again, other side of the map, they're trying to make a play. Now he's going to overcommit and die, but his teammates should be able to get that tier 1 in the process.
Yeah, I mean, they're going to potentially get that tower, but that was a pretty rough outplay there on top side Master Party. He knew the Warwick was still there. He had vision.
Yeah, he knew he was still there.
He's not getting out of that.
Yeah, oh, he does get out of it. Doesn't hit the sleepy trouble. Oh, it did hit. Never mind. I saw the effect miss, it looked like, but...
It lays on the ground there for a few seconds, unfortunately.
Yeah, he tried to use it there to ult to change the fight around, but Leo's up there ready to make sure that keeps his Zoe safe. Warwick looking for another drive in, maybe, but she has Zoe has Lasonia's up, so Justice should play super aggressive here to try and bait this. Is what it looks like he's trying to do. Titan Dog's already rotated up.
Yeah, they want to just keep this game rolling. Gonna use that because there's literally no use in just letting that go to waste.
No other way to use it. So uses it, pokes back in, Redemption's back up. I'd be surprised if he just used the redemption to heal himself and stay in lane. That'd be interesting.
Oh, that's most certainly what he's going to do. He's going to use that to either stay in lane, or he can use it to even push the lane, as Redemption does do that. I believe true damage, actually.
Yeah,
but with all of that already, you're seeing Southern Baptist move around towards the top side. They want Dr. Santa, they want DeLeo on that now strong side for them to pick up this next objective, to pick up that top tower, and maybe even the Herald. Is honestly, the combination of all these factors could just cement them super hard into the lead at this point, because there's still no response. But vision game is something they have to be afraid of, because Missouri State, the one thing they have at the moment is the vision control of this bottom side of the map, though, is already being pinned pretty hard by the boys in blue right now for Southern Baptist.
Yeah, and Southern Baptist right there just out-rotating Missouri, easily shifting their bot lane to the top lane, taking out that turret super fast. But now it looks like they're going to try to do a 4-man gank top, but everyone's missing, and the missing pings come out for Southern Baptist, and their Braum and Bars just back up into safety. Dr. Santa and DeLeo, knowing that they're probably going to die if they stay out in the lane for too much longer. Nothing left else to take there, so it's just avoid the risk.
Exactly, and a little bit of a stall here from Southern Baptist, as that was once again another very overreaching play from Missouri State, who still wants to keep this scaling game rolling, but they're going to find
he's going to open up with the ulti on the Warwick. Warwick's going to just jump on out of there as fast as possible, because he doesn't want anything to do with that. And but then here's the problem, though, is Warwick has already used all that, and there's a second Infernal Drake up for Southern Baptist, and they've already started it.
Exactly, and they're once again just catching Missouri State time and time again with quicker rotations. Young Bobo went to go and contest the bot tower, because, yeah, there was the duo up there, but no, there goes Warwick.
Onto the Warwick, instantly goes almost down, eaten by Tam Kenshin, is saved. Good move by Omnivore there to keep him up. I believe his name is Omnivore, actually. I just looked at that, and that's actually amazing. Props to him as he eats his teammate to save his life. But Warwick stays over too long, flashes over the wall, barely stays alive, but yeah, dude, you kind of wasted your flash because you were surrounded. But unfortunate for the side of Missouri. They're getting bullied in almost every single lane. Kamira's going to dive top and kill this Ezreal. It looks like no hope in the world for young Bobo. Not against the Camille. I mean, even as an Ezreal, Camille's just nearly impossible to get away from. She's so hard to deal with. Omnivore taking out the Malzahar, but Malzahar wants to stay and trying to defend. It might be a bad decision, though, against 4 people.
Most certainly, the power is still in the hands for the Southern Baptist, and they don't even need to stay here. They could rotate up for that Herald immediately, but the tower's already low enough. They're going to go in.
Flash from Malzahar barely gets out of that. The elastic band together there almost gets it. Eat by Omnivore saves him from that paddle star. Malzahar barely getting out there. He does have an ulti up, and I feel like that's why he's trying to stay around, but he's going to get out poked here by this Zoe and this Varus. He's way too low to stick around, and they're just continuously pushing in.
Very little room for them to actually keep playing through at all.
Tons of damage coming in again from Zoe. This time onto the Maokai. He almost taking a ton of damage and almost dying. But yeah, here they're gonna have to send someone help Ezreal up top. And they're just like in shambles here. They don't know what to do. They can't defend mid-turret. They do decide to go up top and force the Camille back a little bit. But they really need to heal and try to reestablish some vision, as well as be together for a fight. So things like this don't happen where they're trying to clear out vision and their half health Tom Kent gets picked out by the ever-dominant vision of Southern Baptist.
Good night, Tom Kent. And I mean, there is some vision on the board from Missouri State, but the problem is it's not doing anything. Three control wards currently up on the top side of the map. Just again to flash away.
Yeah, a little bit over-aggressive there, but it doesn't matter because they're just trying to keep time here. It looks like for Santa to try and get that turret down. Almost gets it super low here. Uses his own flash to get out there. Here comes the Maokai fall by the Ezreal. Ezreal gets blocked. And the Kitty's locked down the Braum, but nothing else comes from there. That was kind of an awkward ult from Jasibra on this Maokai. And it looks like they do want to fight. Camilla's not here, but she does have a teleport. Warwick goes in by himself to start it off, and he's already low and almost dead. Heal comes out. Ignite onto him. He's going to... It looks like... Is Ignite going to get the Warwick? Almost takes him down. Tamkench trying to keep his teammates alive, but I don't think it's going to be enough. Another engage from the Zac. Great eat there to help him avoid dying. They might be able... Nope, they're going to use the teleport onto the Zac. Very beautiful style there, knowing exactly what to do. They held that Camille ulti, or teleport, to come back in to keep Zac alive. Zac does get over aggressive and does die, but here comes Camille just laying down the hate train and this should be an inhibitor top from the triple kill from this beautiful play by Master Party on this Camille.
That was certainly a very hastily put together dive over from Southern Baptist. They got absolutely no vision control, no real zone control before that play went on, but they are just stronger at the moment. Master Party Camille walking away 5-1 and 0, and with the Triforce completed, most likely going on. I'm not actually sure what he's going to build with that second item. Might be the Sterix Gauge, I assume, for the extra split pushing power, but they can literally do whatever they want on the map. The entire map is theirs. Harold won't be alive for too much longer, but Baron will be coming up pretty darn soon, and with the already 11.6k gold lead, things aren't looking too good for Missouri State.
Yeah, it's hard to deal with a Zoe that has this type of items and Varus that has Rageblade and Runans already and stuff like that. But also the icing on the cake, we'll call it, is that teleport onto the Zac passive for Camille, keeping Zac alive for that a little bit extra time. It's kind of a gimmicky play sometimes, but it works out perfectly for their dive, and it opens up everything for Master Party to just run in and clean up house, which is pretty much like your dream job as a Camille. As we see some vision getting cleared out from the side of Missouri, they're really going to need to find a pick, I feel like. So they need to control vision and not get caught. But here comes the Sleepy Trouble to get caught, and he just gets destroyed. Oh my goodness, that Tam died so fast. He even popped the gray health to try and keep himself alive, and he got destroyed. Another Sleepy Trouble bubble goes down. This time it's on Ezreal. He goes down. Maokai gets hit by the Hextech Field. I forgot the name of it now from Camille. The Camille ultimate. She drops down it, kills the Ezreal with it, and then almost takes out the Maokai in the process. But his team is now just going to keep pushing and take out this mid turret, and even possibly this inhibitor as well. This might actually be game. Tam Kenchi's back alive. Ez is still down for 13 seconds. Malzahar gets pulled in and just gets evaporated again. There's just way too much damage for Missouri to deal with from the side of the Southern Baptist squad. They're just constantly landing the CC, constantly diving under turrets. They're diving under the Nexus turrets right now after the Sleepy Double Bubble lands to get kills. No one's dying. Camille's low. Zac's barely below half health now, and they're still just diving, and Camille might actually end up dying here to the turret. Nope, they get out, they get the clean ace, and what a snowball from the side of Southern Baptist. Way to take from little wins to big rotations to huge team fights. They just close out this game in 20 minutes and about 48 seconds, I believe, is when the Nexus died. What a stomp snowball from them. That was impressive.
That was so much control coming out of the Southern Baptist squad, and it really started from minute number 1. There were definitely some questionable macro decisions, like with the way they decided to invade instead of fan, followed up by the time around like the 15-minute mark where they were pushing a lot of priority on the top side without really anything being available for objectives. But Missouri State, they just could never actually find where they wanted to play. They picked this composition with absolutely no early game presence and were unable to trade objectives early, and that really was what just put the final nail in the coffin for them.
Yeah, we saw as soon as the couple early kills came out, but as soon as that dragon got taken, and then they started making a little bit more plays towards the bot lane and away from the mid lane where they had already gotten the advantage on the Zoe, they were just like, okay, cool guys, we got an advantage in mid lane. I'm gonna roam bot. We're gonna get some kills, and then we're gonna push turrets. And you could see on the replay bar at the bottom I was looking at, and all you see is like, okay, one kill, and then you see dragon, and then nothing but blue hashes from them getting kills and taking objectives from like 12 minutes until the end of the game. Just constant snowballing, very quick, very clean. Maybe not as clean as it could have been because Titan Dog did die in that one engage, but I mean, it didn't really matter because they ended up getting a triple kill on Master Party in that trade. So just very, very clean and polished play from them. Something you should expect from a team that has recruited and scholarship players.
Yeah, I mean, they're looking pretty good, but we'll have to see what they can pull off in game number 2 because while it was very solid, Southwest Baptist is not exactly on that top tier level just yet. In Missouri State, they got a good team behind them, got a good coaching staff with them. They might just be able to find those little flaws and play it a bit better. But we'll have to see after we come back from this intermission. Make sure you guys stay tuned for game number 2 between Southwest Baptist and Missouri State.
Once again. once again.